For years, fans watched Janelle Brown put everyone else first, but now she appears to be making a choice that is entirely about herself. The news nobody saw coming has just hit the Sister Wives universe, and it is sending shockwaves through social media and TikTok. Janelle Brown, after years of being associated with Kody Brown and the heavy complexities of plural marriage, has apparently stepped into a completely different chapter of her life. This is not simply another celebrity relationship announcement. It represents a dramatic transformation from Janelle's old life to her completely new one. We all know Kody Brown already found love after leaving Kody, and now Janelle's romantic chapter creates another major turning point in the Sister Wives universe. But the most surprising part may not be who Janelle is dating. It may be how long she managed to keep the relationship out of the spotlight. Before we dive into all the exclusive theories and social media updates about Janelle's new life, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the SW Daily so you never miss out on the latest Sister Wives tea. We are bringing you the deepest dives every single day, so join the family and hit subscribe right now. Now let us get into the big reveal because Janelle is officially moving forward. Fans have followed Janelle through decades of a highly publicized life. We watched her navigate her years in plural marriage. We witnessed her complicated and an often frustrating relationship with Kody. We stood by through her separation when she decided enough was enough. We saw her shift all her focus onto her children, and we cheered for her growing independence. She became the ultimate symbol of a woman reclaiming her autonomy. But this new romance feels entirely different from anything we have seen from her before. Based on the latest social media whispers and fan theories circulating online, this announcement is not about proving anything to anyone. It focuses purely on unexpected happiness, companionship, mutual respect, and the beauty of beginning again. This second the chapter concept is vital to understanding where Janelle is today. This language makes the story so much bigger than just a simple romance. It becomes a powerful message about rebuilding your life after a major relationship ends and finding joy when you least expect it. This sudden development surprised so many fans, and for very good reason. Up until recently, Janelle had spent considerable time presenting herself as completely comfortable with her newfound independence. Her children, her health journey, and her personal goals appeared to be her major priorities. Fans, therefore, we were not necessarily expecting a sudden romantic reveal. We all assumed she was perfectly happy flying solo. The contrast is exactly what creates the biggest surprise. The woman viewers thought had completely embraced single life was apparently opening her heart again, all behind closed doors. This is what gives the story its incredible tabloid appeal. Viewers thought they understood Janelle's current life perfectly, but there was apparently another part of her story happened privately, away from the TLC cameras. Sometimes the biggest and most profound life changes happen away from the lenses. Janelle's private relationship creates the overwhelming impression that she was quietly building a completely new life, while the public was still obsessively discussing her old one. So how did she keep this quiet for so long? That is the question dominating every TikTok comment section right now. This secretive romance is building so much mystery and intrigue because the relationship was not immediately presented as a huge public spectacle. Privacy is incredibly significant for someone connected to a major reality television franchise. Think about the stark contrast here. Reality television is entirely about cameras, publicity, and constant, endless discussion. But Janelle's new relationship is defined by privacy and personal control. Did Janelle intentionally protect this relationship from the network? Was she waiting until she felt completely comfortable and secure before letting the world in on her secret? Whatever the exact timeline, the important point is that Janelle appears to have kept a highly meaningful part of her personal life away from the usual reality TV spotlight. She guarded her heart and her new man until the time was right. This brings us to the man at the center of the story. Who exactly is Pete? While we are piecing together exclusive theories and social media clues, we do not want to make unsupported claims. But what is circulating about Pete paints a fascinating picture. Word on the street is that Pete comes from a solid professional background rooted in construction-related work. He has a hardworking, blue-collar image that immediately sets him apart from the glitz and drama of television personalities. This detail matters immensely to viewers. Contrast his apparent lifestyle with the celebrity environment surrounding Janelle, and you start to see the appeal. A grounded, hardworking partner could easily appeal to someone who has spent years living under intense public scrutiny and family chaos. The story here is not necessarily about Pete being famous. In fact, his apparent lack of interest in fame can become a massive part of the appeal. Janelle may have finally found something very different from the world she spent years living in. She found a quiet, normal life. You cannot look at this situation without talking about the Kody Brown connection. Christine also moved from her chaotic relationship with Kody into a beautiful new monogamous marriage. David Woolley became the ultimate parallel to this new situation. When you compare the two relationships carefully, Christine and David alongside Janelle and Pete, you see two women moving boldly into relationships completely outside the former plural marriage structure. The apparent similarities are absolutely striking. Both women gravitated toward grounded personalities with working class or blue-collar appeal. Both found relationships that appear much more centered on individual companionship and mutual respect than on reality television fame. Fans see this as way more than just a coincidence. Two former sister wives finding new partners outside the spotlight creates a powerful visual and emotional contrast with the difficult life they previously shared. They are completely rewriting their destinies, and they are doing it with men who value them for who they are, not for what they can bring to a television show. This brings us to a much bigger conversation about the entire sister wives paradigm shift. If you take a step back from the TikTok theories and the relationship rumors, you start to see that this completely changes the landscape of the reality show we have been watching for well over a decade. Sister Wives originally centered heavily on Kody's plural family structure. The premise was built on maintaining that one singular dynamic. But over time, that structure dramatically changed right in front of our eyes. Christine's departure and her subsequent marriage created one major new chapter for the franchise. Now, Janelle's romantic life potentially creates another massive shift. This completely changes the show's emotional center. The driving question has shifted from asking if this plural family will stay together to asking what happens when these women finally build independent lives. This story can therefore be presented as an evolution of the franchise itself. The most fascinating part of Janelle's story may be that her future no longer depends on the family structure that originally made her famous. She is essentially rewriting the rules of the show without even trying to. And that leads us to the absolute most interesting detail in all of this, which is the complete absence of Kody in this new narrative. Think about it. Janelle's announcement and the social media buzz surrounding it is entirely about her own happiness. Her former husband does not need to be the center of the story anymore, and that is huge. Consider how significant that is after years of viewers seeing Kody at the absolute center of every single family decision. Everything used to revolve around his needs, his schedule, and his approval. Now, Janelle does not appear to need permission from her past to enjoy her future. We do not even need to speculate on how Kody feels behind closed doors because, frankly, it does not matter. For perhaps the first time, the question isn't what Kody thinks about Janelle's life. It is what Janelle wants for herself. That realization alone is giving fans so much to celebrate. But there is an unseen test to all of this, and that involves the children. Any Sister Wives fan knows that Janelle's adult children have a historically protective relationship with her. We have seen them step up to the plate and defend their mother fiercely, especially during the toughest times of the separation. That is why family acceptance matters so much in this new relationship dynamic. While we are still waiting for more official public statements from all the kids, the social media theories strongly suggest that they are rooting for her. For a family that has watched Janelle through years of emotional upheaval, her happiness would naturally carry enormous significance. Viewers will definitely interpret any family support as an important indicator that this new beginning is the real deal. When a mother has sacrificed as much as Janelle has her children are usually the first ones to want to see her taken care of by someone who truly respects her. This entire situation brings us to the very heart of the story, which is the second chapter. This concept has taken over social media lately because it resonates deeply with so many viewers. The phrase second chapter is so powerful because it reminds us all that a relationship ending does not necessarily mean life is ending. People can rediscover companionship, confidence, independence, romance, and genuine happiness at any age. This message is connecting deeply with viewers who have gone through divorce, separation, or major life changes of their own. Janelle's story becomes instantly inspirational because she is not portrayed as someone who was desperately searching for a man to complete her. Instead, she was thriving on her own, and this relationship appears to have arrived entirely unexpectedly. The emotional takeaway here is beautiful. Sometimes the second chapter isn't something you plan. It is something you finally allow yourself to experience. By stepping into this new phase, Janelle is completely redefining success after plural marriage. For the longest time, the definition of a successful relationship in her world was heavily tied to staying together, maintaining the complicated family structure, and preserving the plural marriage at all costs. But the new narrative she is living is entirely different. Now success looks like mutual respect, emotional compatibility, personal freedom, and in choosing a relationship simply because you genuinely want it, not because a religious doctrine demands it. Janelle's story can therefore be interpreted as a massive redefinition of success. She does not have to prove that her previous marriage was meaningless or a total waste of time. She simply has to show that her future can look different, and that it is perfectly okay to outgrow the life you once thought it was permanent. This redefining of success is exactly why that blue-collar detail we talked about earlier matters so much. When you look at the social media theories highlighting Pete's construction background and compare it with David Woolley's working background, you start to notice a brilliant pattern. There is a massive appeal in partners who appear completely grounded and removed from the toxicity of celebrity culture. Reality television fame can create an incredibly unusual and a stressful environment. You are dealing with public attention, social media scrutiny, intense fan speculation, and constant commentary from strangers. A partner who lives a more ordinary professional life can represent absolute stability amidst all that chaos. For fans, the contrast is almost poetic. After years of living a very public, chaotic family life full of shifting rules and massive egos, Janelle may be drawn towards something much more ordinary and peaceful. It is the ultimate grounding force for a woman who has spent over a decade on a reality television roller coaster. This brings us to the ultimate what if section of our deep dive, because you cannot have a massive sister wives revelation without some serious, safe tabloid speculation. As TikTok detectives and Reddit sleuths continue to dissect every single clue about Janelle and Pete, we have to look at the biggest possibilities moving forward. Could this completely change Janelle's role on Sister Wives? For years, her storyline was inherently tied to the plural family dynamic. But now, could viewers actually start seeing more of her independent life? Will this new relationship eventually become part of future storylines on TLC? Or will Janelle intentionally continue protecting the most intimate parts of her romance from the television cameras? There is also the massive question of her legacy. Could Janelle's story inspire countless other women watching at home? Her journey is rapidly becoming one of the franchise's absolute strongest examples of successfully rebuilding after a painful separation. Fans are asking, could this completely change how we all remember Janelle Brown? Instead of remembering her primarily as the logical, level-headed sister wife of Kody Brown, viewers may increasingly see her as a fierce, independent woman who boldly built an entirely new life from the ground up. Now, these are just possibilities and exclusive theories floating around social media right now, but they point to a massive shift in how the public perceives her. When you look at this from the fan perspective, the emotional payoff is absolutely staggering. After all these years, the audience isn't simply discovering a brand new celebrity couple. We are watching the real-time continuation of a deeply personal story that millions have followed for over a decade. Fans literally grew up alongside the Brown family. We saw the intense family struggles, the heartbreaking disagreements, the quiet moments of separation, and Janelle's slow, steady march toward total independence. We watched her navigate financial fears, live in an RV to secure her future, and increasingly focus entirely on herself and her children. Therefore, seeing her potentially find such profound, peaceful happiness has a completely different emotional impact than your average reality TV gossip. For longtime viewers, this isn't just Janelle finding someone new. It is Janelle finally being allowed to become the main character in her own story. And naturally, we have to talk about the Kody contrast. Without making Kody the villain of this specific chapter, we have to acknowledge the absolute brilliance of this narrative shift. For a decade and a half, Kody was the undisputed center of Janelle's story. His moods, his decisions, his housing plans, and his rules dictated the flow of her everyday life. Now, the most interesting and the captivating part of Janelle's story may be exactly what happens without him. Her future can finally be discussed, analyzed, and celebrated completely independently of her former marriage. This transition feels incredibly powerful because it proves that her identity was never permanently bound to the plural marriage structure. She is standing entirely on her own, and that contrast is what makes her current happiness shine so brightly. So, what is the biggest question going forward? As social media continues to explode with exclusive theories, we have to ask ourselves, is this simply a new romance, or is this undeniable evidence that Janelle has completely and permanently entered a totally new phase of life? Will she continue keeping the relationship completely private, cherishing it away from the TLC spotlights? Will fans eventually see more of Pete, perhaps on her Instagram or even in future episodes? How will this fundamentally affect Janelle's place within the larger Sister Wives universe? And perhaps most importantly of all, is Janelle finally living a life that is completely undefined by the shadows of plural marriage? This brings us to the final emotional payoff. Janelle's story is no longer about Kody. When you bring all of these major themes together, the entirely unexpected romance, the brilliant secrecy, Pete's grounded and blue-collar image, Christine's beautiful parallel journey, the rapidly changing Sister Wives franchise, the support of her children, and the breathtaking idea of a second chapter, you realize something profound. Janelle's biggest transformation isn't necessarily that she simply found another man. It is that she appears completely willing to embrace true happiness on her own terms, without asking for permission. Her journey beautifully demonstrates that leaving one heavy, complicated chapter behind absolutely does not mean the story is finished. In fact, the best pages might just be getting written right now. After everything Janelle has been through, maybe the biggest surprise isn't that she found love again. Maybe it's that she finally seems ready to enjoy a life that belongs entirely to her. But what do you think? Does Pete represent Janelle's true second chapter, or is this only the beginning of an even bigger transformation? Let us know what you think in the comments below. We read every single one of your exclusive theories and thoughts. If you loved this deep dive and want to stay on top of all the latest reality TV news, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications for the SW Daily so you never miss an update. And if Janelle has truly entered her second chapter, the next question is, what could this mean for the future of the entire Brown family? We will be breaking that down in our next video, so stick around and we will see you next time.